It's a beautiful Thursday morning here in Lagos. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the program. I am Nifebi Okuntoye. We're turning our attention to Edo State this morning, where it appears to be a part-tussle between, or rather among three governors, two of them former, one incumbent, and one of them former national chairman of the ruling party, another incumbent. And we have heard what they are saying about the development in that part of the country, where it appears 15 is now more than 9. Some are saying this is taking us right back to where we started, where the houses of assembly haven't really proven themselves and proven the mettle of indeed being an independent check on the executive. So we saw in June where 9 members out of 24 were inaugurated in Edo State. It's not the first time that we're having issues with the House of Assembly there. Recall that members of the Edo State House of Assembly had left the chambers to meet in the governor's office in time past. And we'll be talking about all of those developments and how it all impact on our polity as a nation. But let's also remind you that there is the ministerial nominee screening is ongoing at the floor of the Red Chamber. 10 ministers were screened yesterday. We expect 8 more today. And the development has been having former lawmakers take a bow. And many Nigerians are talking about how relevant that is, especially when you watch the testimonies of Mueller yesterday at the United States, where the man was, really screened for close to 12 hours. Depth analysis coming from qualitative lawmakers in that part of the world. And many people are questioning when and how will our own legislature also match up. Let me introduce my guest to you this morning. I have a veteran journalist joining us, Charles Adele. Good morning and thank you for finding time to come.
Thank you for bringing me here.
Sebastian Iyere. Did I get that? Iyere is a political affairs analyst. Glad to have you come on the show this morning. All right, let's begin with what transpired in June. It is apparent that inaugurating about 9 lawmakers at 9 p.m., they say it's 1/3 of that assembly. There's a lot of confusion right now about the position of the law. They said there's a part of the Constitution that says that members of the House of Assembly must not be more than 40 and not less than 24. It is apparent that something is fishy here. But how do you react to this development as an individual?
I think for me it is a case of 2 apparent wrongs cannot make it right. There has been a lot of pressure from one camp that's apparently being led by the ex-governor, former governor, Oshiomhole, with all due respect, and another camp that is being championed by Obaseki, the current state governor. For me, I weep, not because there is disagreement or misalignment between them. I actually weep because people are suffering because of the misalignment between them. I think in their battle or struggle with each other, they have apparently forgotten that they are there for the people. The people is why they are there. And when both parties miss that landmark, it is the people, the poor, that are suffering. Okay. I think that is my major problem with the wrangling.
Let's get down to the processes really and discuss what really transpired. So we seem to have a situation where the incumbent governor appeared to have learned from what happened to the former governor here in Lagos. So it's a situation where, well, let me keep the loyal people to myself at the House of Assembly. That way, they cannot use that structure against me. But the legality of this is also being questioned, and the possibility of laying a very bad precedent yet again in that part of the country. How do you react to this?
Well, for me, first of all, I'm a stakeholder because even though I work here in Lagos, I am born full-blooded Edo. I'm a stakeholder there. So whatever happens in Edo should concern me because my children are also Edo. And whatever happens here, if we don't right the wrong in future, all of us, we will not be proud to say this is what we couldn't do. And we know what to do, we didn't do it. And what to do now is we need to be telling them the worry parties to shift their sword. As he said, as General said now, that is the people that suffer. Because as the saying goes, when the elephants fight, the grass and the trees, they suffer. So literally, the people are the grass and the trees that actually suffer. Because when you fight that way, you'll be looking for how to outdo the other. Then development will be on recess. Everything will be kept in abeyance. We don't want that because Edo has suffered for too long, has suffered. Edo, you know, in those when it was all bend, you know, bend there. But we've always been blessed with good quality leadership. But in this current dispensation, we've been having problem with leadership that are not as good as it used to be. So what we're just doing now, let them just come. Maybe the person is coming from Edo North, let it be Edo North, then we go with it. Oh, Edo South is Edo South next, it's Edo Central. But I think we need to be talking that the time has come for us to insist on quality leadership. Because of Edo is highly educated, Edo is highly sophisticated when it comes to politics. So, but I don't know why we're not getting it right, which of course everything rises and falls on leadership, which is what all of us are talking. But Oshiomhole and Obaseki, who are brothers, so to speak, I don't know why they allow this feud to degenerate to this level. Okay? First of all, Oshiomhole ought to be the political father of all of us over the back home, whether irrespective of party divide. There were people who, over time, have been feasting, in so to speak, on the corridors of power. When Obaseki got there, he said, no, these people were going to be a distraction to them. So can we spend most of the money on development? Yeah, but again, that is good. But again, people head up the ladder for you to get up there. Even if you are not going to say, okay, allow political pre-benalism for them to say, okay, we're not going to be giving you money. So, but at least there are people who want access to the government. But by cutting them off, what you have done is that you have distorted the equation. Those are the people who are now going to Abuja to go report him to Oshiomhole. Again, where Oshiomhole also went wrong was that he also didn't play like that. I expected him as the father to say, okay, come. My ears are filled up with some of these things. What can we do? Reach out to this man and then you call them, rather than allow the thing to degenerate. But thankfully, yesterday, we read, we saw on TV how they were backslapping and so on, because there appeared to be a truce being brokered by there
are many who would say that you cannot take that particular scene you saw on television to the bank, because we've seen people laugh and then hug each other in front of the camera, and something else is happening behind the curtain. But let's look at what has transpired now. The former governor, as well as former national chairman John Odigoyego, has accused the current national chairman of the APC of fueling the crisis in Edo State. We've also heard Godwin Obaseki saying he's only being persecuted because he has refused to spend public funds on certain people. So they have branded it godfatherism and all of that. It was the former Lagos State governor who said that may our loyalty not be tested. What's the thin line between loyalty and then, godfatherism? Because as he said, certain people brought you there in the first place, and there's no way a governor can emerge now without actually submitting to someone else.
Yeah, you see, governance, when it comes to governance, governance is for the people. As soon as you move the people away and governance become governance of the party, for the party and by the party, then there is a problem.
But are we considering the way and manner the structure is right now, the fact that it is not really the people that get you elected. It is the party that first introduce you to the people.
That's where I'm coming in. See, first of all, we must, as a party, say governance is for the people. Now, Obaseki being there, for example, he must understand that some people, for example, a chief in Opoji or a leader in Emuhi or a leader in Uromi actually told his followers, vote for this man. And when he told the followers to vote for this man, he told the followers, this man will give you these benefits or these empowerments. Now, by the time Obaseki is not giving them those benefits or those empowerment, the people feel the man has betrayed them to vote for Obaseki rather than vote for another person. Right. And then this man, feeling he's betrayed, now goes back to Obaseki, and that is how the wrangling starts. Once we come back to governance, which is as it is practiced abroad, because politics is everywhere. People benefit from politics. People benefit from politics and there are always leaders of industries, leaders of whatever project groups, whatever projects they are, whether you talk about power, water, there are MDs that are companies that are leading these project groups. These people will benefit, and that benefit comes down to the people. There is always a way for people to benefit and for party leaders to also benefit. There must be a balance in it. Yeah. That balance comes only when we all, whether as a governor or as a leader or as a chief or as an owner of a company, whether you all put in mind the people. It is when we all put in mind the people, the benefit of the people. For example, why should it be that in Edo State today, people still run away to go and join prostitution in Italy?
Abroad.
Why should it be that in Edo State today, people still walk the whole of Sahara Desert and cross the Mediterranean Sea? That's the question you should be asking.
And people dying in Libya.
Yeah, and people dying year in and year out. Why is it that we still have crimes and court groups? Why is it that we still have Yahoo boys? Why is there still pressure on Edo people who are in diaspora to keep sending money home to make sure that their families are supported?
I get your point precisely. Yes. And you're saying that government has to be people-focused.
Yes.
Good.
But I'm also very concerned about how we discuss this matter. So when we talk about the Edo House of Assembly crisis, it's between the former governor and the incumbent governor. Nobody's talking about the processes. Is it right to have inaugurated 9 out of 24 elected members to that house? As we speak right now, the House of Reps Ad hoc Committee has already returned with its report, urging the governor to fix another date for inauguration and
to submit a proclamation letter.
Yes, and also asking the IGP and the DG of the DSS to shut down the complex of the House of Assembly. However, the Senate is also coming up with another independent ad hoc committee. How do you see this play out?
Well, first of all, what really happened in Edo State in the emergence of the current crop of leaders in Edo State is quite sad, and sadly, as I said earlier, we are highly educated back in Edo State, so we are supposed to even be showing people the way to go about it. But we appear to have relegated that to the background, and then we are forfeiting the growth that we're supposed to have it. Now, what took place in Edo State is just a contestation for power. Why do I say? You know, the Edo elections are staggered, so you don't have the governorship and the House of Assembly the same year. But because of that, the governor, if he's not careful, to show up his power base, he might be thrown out. Because, for instance, now the governorship elections are upon us in 2020. You already have a house. If he does not ensure that he has his power, I mean, he sounds solidly sustained in the house. Assuming the Oshiomhole camp has the upper hand, I mean, any little thing we do, I mean, there will be card of what do you call it, impeachment dangled upon him.
But is this
so,
not
which is
like
why he's doing that? But again, it's not
snatching the whole infrastructure of the House of Assembly in his favor.
No, good. But you really can't blame leaders. Politics is about power. Okay, I do know that there are students of politics, there are students of power. But we hardly have students of politics in Nigeria. All we have is students of power. Well, what's power? Power is about is that winners take all. Because if you're not careful, you go over there and say, okay, you want to do it the way it's done abroad, where maybe he also lives abroad. You might check that what a place in Nigeria is quite different. Because if you are there, the man who was there, if you have been there before, you know how sweet it is. You won't let go. Although I don't want to say or someone is bringing back godfatherism through the back door. No, because what actually is playing out in Edo State is about interest. Okay, but whether you like it or not, he remains the political father of all of the Edo people. So if he is still having interest in who comes there, and then you think the governor will just be looking for him to put his men there, and then the governor he won't have a base. So that's why he was advised by whoever advised him to make sure that he did what he did. But again, you can't, because if we allow it to stand, as you said, it's a back precedent. Because what you need to do is that next time, you say, okay, let us do this illegality, let people go to court. And then you now start struggling for it. Before you know it now, so we must make sure we right the wrong that was done on that day.
It was the former U.S. President Barack Obama who said that what Africa needs is not strong
institutions,
but indeed strong institutions. So what we have here are very weak institutions. As we speak right now, they say, oh, majority of the people are behind the incumbent governor. But then it's the law behind what he has done, or we have leaders who have been able to twist the law in their favor. How long do you see this play itself out? Because he might have his way with the House of Assembly, but if he's still going to run on the platform of the APC, he will still have to fight out at the primaries.
Yeah, I think at a point, we need to all wake up as a state in Edo State. In Edo State, we have a proverb that when you are in darkness long enough, you begin to see. At a point, we all need to wake up. And I can tell you, a lot of people are waking up, whether locally or internationally. We have Europe people waking up to say, this cannot continue forever. We have people in the UK, in the US, in Canada, Middle East, Far East Asia. Everybody's saying, how long will this be? And it is just a matter of time, because that is exactly what is also happening in international politics. You just saw Theresa May step down. People are beginning to wake up. Nobody thought Nigel Farage was ever going to win the UK election. But before you know it, Nigel Farage won the highest number of seats in MPs for Europe. So people are beginning to wake up. You even see that Chancellor of Germany is stepping down.
Are people waking up in Nigeria?
People are waking up. And that is the same waking up that people will soon wake up in Edo State.
Okay.
And for example, that is part of why I am even here in the very first case, to say, look, things cannot continue like this in Edo State forever.
And you think it is the people that we have to
Oh yeah, it is
always
the people. Always the people. One man cannot be stronger than the whole.
But the challenge now with the people, from the feelers we're getting, is that if the incumbent governor has majority of the people on his side, the people cannot be on the side of the rule of law and also be on the side of the governor at the same time. So it's a divided interest. The governor already appears to have taken a step that is not in tune with what is expected of him according to the law.
Well, it may last for a while, as he said. People are beginning to realize that these seeming powers that be, they're actually not there for the people. In most cases, they are there for themselves. They are there for their accolades, and they are people who are the supporters. But the question is, when will development come to the generality of people? You can't be in Benin, and then somebody in there as far-flung as what's the name of Igara, Ibilo, Ikpeshi, Lankbese. These are places far-flung from Benin City. Yeah. Question is that what is coming to the person who is as far-flung as Lankbese? Yeah. Okay, somebody who is in Ibilo. Somebody is in Nagedebode. Yeah. Somebody is in Ogbona. All these areas, these are far-flung areas from Benin City. So what comes to them? So these people are beginning to wake up that when they get in there, in most cases, they forget them. So that's why the reawakening process is actually going up in Edo State. You may say the man has some people who are with him, but the question is that those people he has with him, those house members, how many of them control their areas? Apart from during election, this is our man. But when they have tested him maybe for 1 year, 2 years, why do you think they keep changing people every time? So the time has come. They say no. Anybody who will bring about quality leadership, purposeful leadership is what they are looking for. So if Obaseki cannot give them, Obaseki may have people with him that this have half members, but he will not have the general people. Actually, they are going to punish him at the polls when it comes to time. But except he writes the wrong, that part that he has is told now, except he recounts. Okay, so that's exactly how it's going to be, so that we can move forward.
You know, they said that integrity is relative. Okay, so you hear the incumbent governor say that, oh, they want me to spend public funds on certain people. But there are people who will say it was the system, the same system that favored you and supported you all the way. Yeah. So how dare you wake up one day and then say, oh, this is... How do we begin to change this? Because on one hand, you're saying, oh, indeed, the incumbent governor should work for the people. But then it will be a betrayal on the system that brought him in the first place.
I agree. I agree with you absolutely, and that is why people like him, I have minimum sympathy for him. But then again, you realize that he was, we really at that time were in prison. So him being there, him being chosen, him being placed there, for me, I see him as a fellow prisoner of the system. And he is there. I see all Edo people as prisoners of the process that is going on. And there needs to be a rebel against the system, against that system. And for me, the rebel against that system, the revolution against that system is one man, one vote. It may work, it may not work 100% all through Edo State, but if one man, one vote captures 50% of Edo State, the next time it will extend to 60%, 70%, because it's only that one man, one vote that actually will bring development in the state. Because you cannot, rightly you have said, be imposed on Edo State, and suddenly because you see that your position is apparently threatened, and then you start to cry. You start to cry foul.
Let me just hold you for a minute to turn attention to our viewers right now. We're opening the phone lines for our viewers to call. We're looking forward to people to also call in from Edo State. But we have a caller from Ikeja now. Good morning, Judge.
Hello, Nifemi. Good morning, and good morning to the guests there.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Nifemi, I'm unable to subscribe to this emotional strategy that the governor is employing. Oshiomhole is asking me to bring government money that is meant for the people. That one is just to whip up public sentiment. I don't agree with it.
Correct.
The Oba of Benin and some other prominent people in the state went to Abuja. I think they were about 52 to go and meet the president on behalf of the governor. Did they go with the Oba's money? Whose money did they use for the trip, for hotel accommodation and all that? The governor should stop whipping up emotions and face realities. There is nobody that will be in that position that will not do what he is doing now. Otherwise, he won't be there.
That's right.
The law says that you cannot inaugurate the State House of Assembly in the way he did.
That's right. Correct.
That is the issue. So he should be addressing the issue rather than whipping up public sentiment. The popularity that he seems to be claiming is not on ground. The gentleman on the left is likely to know that. He looks like somebody who is resident there and knows what is going on there.
I'm also wondering how you get to know that from Ikeja.
No, I am from Edo State.
Yeah, okay.
I was born there.
That's right.
But you do not currently live there right now. That's what I'm saying.
I do not live there. Doesn't mean I don't know what is going on there.
It reaches back.
It's all right.
So what I'm saying, Nifemi, is that for truth to come about, these two people, the governor and Mr. Oshiomhole, should come to truth. They are the two people that can solve the problem.
That's right.
Let them speak together in the interest of the Edo people. That this is in a give and take formula.
It's all right, Judge.
And get the former chairman of APC, Chief Oyegun. They should take him out of the way. He is just trying to capitalize on the disagreement.
I think that you made your point, Judge. Thank you very much for calling in. Well, the honest truth is that opinions are divided as regards this. Right. I have also spoken. I worked in Edo State for about 2 or 3 years, and I have spoken with journalists there who would say that there are an appreciable percentage of people living in Edo who are on the side of the governor. He appears to have appealed to the people in the area of traffic management. There's an hospital that was a really close to the Oshiomhole government that he appears to have given life to. We saw it play out in Lagos State. There were people who liked the Ambode style of governance, but then that did not return him. But this further buttressed the fact that the houses of assembly appears to have remained, a rubber stamp on the executive. How do they get this independence that we truly need?
Well, first of all, why is that? It's quite sad that most of the houses of assembly we have in Nigeria, they have not been able to accept their independence because the constitution anticipated a situation where one man will start becoming the be-all and end-all and controlling the process of the whole party and so on. And that will spell doom to the people. So that's why the constitution clearly spells out checks and balances and then gave each of them a measure of independence, okay? But there are ways where they can collaborate, they can complement each other, but the independence of each of them is clearly spelled out. But what we have, you have the governor sponsoring the elections of some of these young men. So when your election was sponsored, there's no way your loyalty to
Let me
that
hold you
governor
for a minute.
That's right.
I told you earlier that the ministerial screening is continuing at the floor of the Red Chamber. We're just going to take a call from Edo State before we link you to what's happening there. Already, the House has been convened, and we expect 8 more nominees to be screened today. Hello, Okorafo. You have just about 30 seconds.
Good morning, Mr. Anita. Good morning, guests in the studio.
Good morning.
Honestly speaking, gentlemen, they say politics in Edo State is what we call politics of godfatherism. Let us face the reality. Father can pay for the son. Hello? Father can pay for the son. That is time for payback time. So, you say payback time, I sponsored you, I have to dictate. So, because if you see the campaign, it was the godfather was campaigning for the young man. So, now the thing is this, we have 2 factors in Nigeria.
It's all right. Thank you so very much for your contribution. Let me just take you 30 seconds. So, if you were governor of Edo State right now, what will you be doing differently? Because you came all the way from the University of Sussex. What kind of wisdom do you think you would have applied in this situation?
To be honest, if I were governor of Edo State, there are a lot of things I could correct. A lot of things I could correct, from project handling to education to medical to loans available to the people.
I'm talking about this particular scenario.
For this particular scenario,
where he has an issue with the national chairman of his
I would
party.
first of all want to say that I would not be a governor of Edo State as it is today, because by the time Obaseki got in there, he was already compromised.
That's all right. Thank you so much for coming, Engineer Sebastian here. Competency, procedures development, part operations of the University of Sussex, UK. Charles Deho, thank you so much for coming. We understand that Alasho Adura is about to take his stance at the floor of the Red Chamber, and the screening is ongoing right now. We're going to just hand you over to the Red Chamber as we continue our in-depth analysis on the ministerial nominees for the second term President Muhammadu Buhari. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Thank you for joining us this morning.